Thank you all very. Just to give you some highlights, this year's budget committee meetings are also on Zoom as they were last year. I don't know if Gabe is joining us or if he's joining us via Zoom or not at all. So just a couple things. Barb is incredible and leaves me these notes. I can read this. Please remember to speak very clearly because we are being recorded and others are watching it. All votes will be taken by a roll call, especially if someone is attending via Zoom. Please raise your hand and wait for your chairman who you elect to call upon you. Presenters that are scheduled on the agenda will speak from an assigned area and you can address them. Please stay seated in the audience. Okay, until the chairman invites you up. Public and other attendees, no person in the audience will speak unless called upon by the chairman of your board. Again, they will raise their hand and ask the chairman to speak, and then they will come to the podium to speak. Yeah, that's right. There is no, it's a pretend podium.
Go to the there is one.
It's a pretend podium. So with that, welcome. And as always, folks, thank you very, very much. We know this takes your time and it's very precious. And we greatly appreciate the work that you do for us. As my name is Amy Fowler. On my right is Commissioner Betty Johnson. On my left is Commissioner Bill Shorey. Barb Arsenault is our county clerk and the wisdom behind all of us. Karen Trussell is our finance director, whom I'm sure you all read the email as to why we're trying to move this ahead. Karen she has a grandson now.
I want to be closer to home.
She does. Guys, she travels
54 miles.
And an hour and 20 minutes, morning and night. She's done it for 19 years.
16 on that. So
But
been here 19 and a half.
so I mean, you know, Karen's our wisdom, and we really wanted to move this through with her here to answer any questions for you. So with that, I would ask for I'm sorry.
So what does that mean?
That means I'm going to run the checkbook, Penny.
Oh,
That's scary.
This
This is my grandbaby.
Oh, guys, don't stop.
does that mean she's going to be leaving us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
When's your last day?
My official last day is December 1st, regardless of anybody in my position. I'm trying to give people enough time to get somebody in here so I can train them, or if I find a job, it's going to be a 3-week notice from the day I get take the position. Okay.
But so far, she's going to use me as a reference, and I'm telling everybody that calls her to eat water.
I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
So where are we with the treasurer?
So the treasurer in Waldo County is an elected position, and when our treasurer 3 years ago stepped down, it automatically goes back for a governor's appointment. And it has to be an appointment of the political party, even though it's county government. I mean, I really don't think we're political, you know what I mean? But he was, Mr. Sheff was a Democrat. So therefore,
Sheff was a Republican.
oh, he was a Republican. So it had to be a Republican appointed for the position by the governor. And like,
I was notified a couple of weeks ago that last Friday was the last day to get in for the write-in. I said no by the onset that I'm aware of.
The thing is, it's more of a figurehead than anything, not like what it used to be. So I imagine there weren't a lot of people interested.
So,
Next question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
sorry, I'm just curious. So it goes to the Waldo County Republican Party to put forth a name. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And they couldn't come up with the name.
Josh, I don't know.
They did not come up.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's out of our hands. I don't know.
So my next question is, a selectman can't be a commissioner, but can a selectman be a treasurer?
I don't think so.
I
don't think so. I had looked into that a long time ago. I don't think it's changed.
I don't know, because I know a commissioner can be a representative in Augusta at the
Can be
same time.
representative, but cannot be,
But there's no financial, I don't know, Penny, it's unfortunate. I mean, in years past, I don't know how many of you remember Treasurer Dave Packman, if anybody was on then or what, yeah, wow. I'm
My
glad.
buddy.
Same town, right?
And,
I wasn't on the board when he was.
Dave was our treasurer for probably
16 years.
16 years, and he was probably the most active. I mean, he would be in Augusta lobbying with me,
He'd
and
go to every town
Um,
meeting.
and he would make recommendations legitimately, to us and stuff, very business savvy.
Until he had his stroke.
even more.
yeah.
Yes.
So he had a
Got
stroke in our meeting. But, anyway, so
And it was at our house at dinner time. When he was over with Cheryl and he was telling stories and all that came out of his mouth was garbage. You couldn't understand.
Yeah, I had given Cheryl a heads up.
That's what she
he's
said.
not
remember I told you, I said, call.
Yeah.
He was in a meeting with us, and it was just, and Dave could be silly sometimes, so you had to know how to take it, but it was like, something's not right.
Yeah.
I said
So-
to Karen, call.
So when was that supposed to be filled?
It should
Or
have been-
when is the
When
next
did-
election that? we
This
fill
year
it?
is the election. November is the election for a new treasurer.
But
And
nobody's.
he
No.
when did Chef get done?
It's gonna be
No, the year before.
Like May 20.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years. ago.
2020.
May of 2020.
Oh,
Yeah, so we haven't had.
So if there's nobody elected, do they end up appointing somebody?
Well, they didn't appoint somebody so
The
far.
governor is supposed to.
Right, the governor's supposed to do that.
Based
I
on,
would make a pretty figure.
Yeah.
I think the governor would have to do the appointment this time with it, because there's no Republican. But the thing is, if there had been, Republican, it would be the Republican Party, or if it was a Democratic Party responsible to hold some type of election. But this is open now, and nobody has taken out papers.
I didn't even know.
From
when it
any
was gonna
party?
be open.
Can I ask
No one's running at all.
No.
can I ask a question about that? I heard one of you, I don't know who said it, one of you said it was just a figurehead position now.
Well, and that,
By, what do you?
so that was, we were really bad with our adjectives.
No, that's okay. I
It,
just want to know what that. exactly.
Folks, we're fortunate enough now that we have a finance director
Oh,
that understands TAN notes and investments and bonds and so on and so forth. Where historically in the past, and we were fortunate because Dave understood a lot. He was very business savvy. But so after that, we kind of really honed in on her position. And now it's the treasurer's position is kind of, I would,
Figurehead. That's
Right.
basically what it is.
but it's kind of like a it's a title, and that's all. Come to the meetings, everything's prepared and done,
Amy, so you're taking over the check.
No, I was teasing. I truly
Okay.
was teasing. Please, I was teasing.
Just wondering,
So you'll be
this is being
advertising.
recorded.
Yeah.
We are currently advertising. And
How
we've
are
lost
you-
Josh, so we gotta
Have you
keep
been-
talking.
My question is, I mean, how
One or
many
two
hours does she put in a week?
It's a full-time position.
I mean, it's 40 hours a week,
35.
35.
So that's just almost full time.
Well, you're here 8 hours, but an hour's a lunch.
Yeah.
So.
It's
not
considered a
paid
full-time position. Her position is, yeah.
Yeah, so that's more than a figurehead. I mean, that's.
No,
Oh,
that's
no, he was
finance
talking about
director.
the
Treasurer is, basically can come and go, and they can, what's the word?
Oh, okay, so
They can, advise, but there's no authority. They can go through the bank's accounts, they can look and advise recommendations.
second pair of eyes.
Yes, second pair of eyes.
So when Dave Parkman was here, he would sign checks.
Yep.
Yes, he would sign checks.
Think of it this way, I mean, we're looking at a $9-10 million budget. So, you know, in a business sense, this is the person that monitors and takes care of that budget. You know, those numbers, the checkbooks, the accounts and everything else.
So to change the subject, I'd like to nominate Josh Garrettson for chair.
I'll second that.
A motion,
I
a
make a
motion
motion
is.
nomination cease.
Second that.
I thought you guys were gonna do this when you went to the bathroom.
Well, you said
Yeah,
to
we
keep
did.
talking, so we did.
All of those in favor of Josh as chairman of the Waldo County Budget Committee?
Bob Currick votes aye.
Ah,
We gotta do a roll call.
oh, yes, if we could do a roll call, Mr. Carrick,
Aye.
Elaine,
Aye.
Tom, Linda,
Aye.
Tammy,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Penny.
Aye.
Excellent. It is unanimous, sir. It is all yours, sir.
Great, thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Why don't we first just, we all think know each other, but why don't we just go around and introduce ourselves? Again, I'll start. I'm Josh Garrettson, selectman from.
Tammy Higgins, like, council, Winterport.
Linda Payson, selectman from Simsport.
Tom Wagner, selectman from Waldo.
Elaine Higgins, selectman from Freedom.
Bob Currick, selectman from Florida.
Penny Sampson, you just pull out the second.
Oh.
I was being politically correct.
Yeah.
Great. Well, do I hand it back to you now?
It's all yours, sir.
Thank you.
All right, well, how do we, first of all, do we have any questions about the budget? That is first off that we want to ask.
We tried to get your budgets out to you, and Barbara, these guys have been fantastic, so that you had time to review them or look through them ahead of time. I'm sure you noticed that our most significant increase is commodities, Scott. And even at this point, we're grateful that Keith has been able to, you know, lock in and save where he can, but
Well, let's start with start with 1020.
Josh, if I
If
could
they're not
just
that
back you up for a second.
Yeah.
Karen wanted to go over with you folks the projected revenues,
Okay.
and there's actually a change to what's in your book.
We increased the EMA reimbursement at Proctor Dale because the federal government goes from October to September. So I was missing 3 months worth of revenue.
I mean, it's not like,
It's like
Usually
$18,000 more, but.
but
it's
yeah,
still
but I mean,
increased.
it's something, and the numbers change, so.
Let's move on to 1020.
You'll see on the commissioner's budget, there's a 3.11% increase. Majority of that actually is step, just personnel. Harvey has gone through our budget and made some pretty significant cuts here and there, folks. We've done a different format that you're seeing in your book. I hope you don't mind. We're trying to streamline, if you will. So that's why the chart looks a little different than what it has in the past. But the nice thing about this is it gives you a year-to-date where the expenditures are, what was down for last year, what was expended, and what the request is.
you have any questions on this part?
I think I did. On the commissioners' pay, how is that determined?
Well,
Pay scale.
there's a pay scale, there's a starting scale. You know, as you come in as a new commissioner, and then is it 4 years or? I
I
don't know.
believe
how to-
so. So, for example, Commissioner Johnson has been here 13 years and is being paid at the 11-year level. Commissioner Shorey has been here 15 years, being paid at the 15-year level. Commissioner Fowler has been here 19 years at the 19-year level. So it's kind of odd numbers, but there is a pattern.
And how does that compare to other counties?
Actually, I think we're like right in the middle. I wouldn't, Penny, we usually try to, I don't pay much attention to Southern Maine and their numbers because they're generally significant. So therefore, we look at light counties, Lincoln, Saginaw, Knox, Somerset, Aroostook, that's our sizes. So usually our pay scales, not even just for us, but all of the staff is generally figured in that area. We don't go to Southern.
Unlike some of the counties, there's not a stipend for the chairman here. You're all on the same pay scale. There's no added amount.
So it's just tenure.
Yeah. Barbara won't even give me a second.
Are you expecting a vote on the departments that we covered tonight?
If you would like, Mr. Chair, we just figured, remember a couple of years ago, Josh, when our first night, when we usually just elect a chair and then we talk for 10 minutes and then we leave. And it just seemed like such a waste of time. But then there was that one year that we seemed to really blast through budgets. So Barb and Karen and we tried to come up with some of the easier budgets, if you will, that wouldn't create so much debate and discussion. Also taking into consideration that, you know, department heads, we would need to give them a notice.
Yeah.
So why is the telephone bill going up so much? $1,500.
Go ahead, if you would, Karen.
We have to provide cell phones to a lot of the staff because they're not allowed to use their own personal phones with the system, like in the DA's office, nothing personal can be linked in their
Okay.
system. So that's why cell phones, we have to provide more.
The human resources person right now does not have a cell phone. And of all the departments, that one really.
Yeah, really, that needs to be confidential, but
Yeah.
Jason, I'm sorry, was going to speak on that when he
Yes.
came in and did his technology report, because the DA's office, we've got to get cell phones for all of them. And for the time, I mean, up until now,
So this DA works for both Waldo and Lincoln.
she does
Four
4
counties.
counties.
So we pay, that's a quarter of the cell phones, or that's all the stuff?
No, we
No,
just pay for ours, who's in our
We
county.
do pay for a quarter of the
No,
DA and the assistant DA and the deputy. We have to pay a quarter of their cell phones.
Okay.
But that would be in their budget also, Bob.
Gotcha.
Any other questions from the committee? Cell phone question was the only one I had.
Is everybody understanding the new layout of this? What's that?
I like it.
Okay, good.
So I presume you're using your system.
Yes,
Yes.
Before, was it more
Yeah.
manual or?
Yes.
it was an Excel
Excel,
program.
having to shift a bunch of things over and it's very late.
And this follows the appropriation report. I just double spaced it so you have more.
Which I like the idea of being able to see where we're at, what we've expended. So,
There's much less margin for error.
Well, you've got, this is the current one where you got these a while ago. The year-to-date has been updated, but not on your paper. So
It's updated here.
It's updated here for the year-to-date expense. Yeah.
That's why the difference.
Yes. Yeah, because when I printed that, I think we've had a couple of warrants since.
Well, if there are no further questions, I will entertain a motion for approving this department's budget.
Motion to approve. Department. Seconded.
At what amount?
At, sorry,
Good question.
at 32,200, big one. Try this again, 32,200,
320.
oh, 322, I'm gonna take that off here then.
No, this is
No,
the
here.
appropriation, you take it from here, sorry. Right,
Yeah. It's it's 32,000.
32,051.
Are these accurate?
Yes, those are accurate.
Okay, but this would also be a cheat sheet
Yeah, that's the cheat sheet.
proposed budget.
So for 32, I'm seeing 32,320.
There you go.
God, oh my God, I can't say it, I'm sorry. 322,051.
Yes, there.
Sorry, oh, the cut you were making there, Tim.
We're gonna be doing
It's been a long day.
Yeah, you really have.
Have a cookie.
Sorry
Somebody
about
give
that.
her a cookie.
Okay, did we have a second?
Yes.
Okay, so motion moved by Tammy, seconded by Elaine. Any discussion? No further discussion. I will call for a vote. Penny,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Elaine,
Aye.
Tom. Linda. Linda. Aye. Yeah,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes. Okay. Moving on. Department 1025, fine.
Yeah,
So can I just, it's my understanding that we really don't have a say in the salaries.
No.
Because the salaries are determined by your scales and your tenures. And the only thing that's changed on this schedule has been the salary. So with that in mind, I'd like to make a motion to accept 1025 at $82,051.
Motion moved by Bob, seconded by Elaine. Any discussion?
I have a question. Is that Karen's position?
yes.
Yes,
So when she's leaving in December, how will that be impacted for 2023?
well, and that's another thing we've had to take into consideration, because at first it was like, Karen's been here for 19 years, and this is her salary, and there is indeed a scale. Do we automatically adjust the scale now? And quite frankly, we're like, nope, let's just leave it the way it is. When we bring a new person in, that way we know, obviously, we'll have more than enough, but I would rather put back into the general fund at the end of the year what we don't expend from that department, because bringing in a new person or have it there. So we've decided not to adjust that. Yes, sir.
So if the new person costs more, you have a contingency fund to cover that.
Truthfully, I
don't think that was
I
a problem.
well, yeah,
Okay.
Bob, I like to think it's Karen's reason for leaving, I don't think, and I don't mean to speak for you, I don't think is salary. God bless her. She's driven an hour and a half morning and night.
Sure.
She has a new grandson and family
And I'm
nearby.
really recommending that they get somebody that has accounting background, because this job isn't what it was 19 and a half years ago when I started, and I self-taught myself a lot of it.
She did. She did.
And you've got a $1 million budget, you've got $7 million ARPA funds, you've got all the grants, 11 checking accounts, 3 accounts in the jail. You need to have somebody that's has an accounting behind it to be able to track all that.
And you think you'll be able to replace or with someone at a lower price.
Or the same.
or
Same.
or at the same if we had to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
so, kind of cross my fingers.
I just ask, what is the plan if you can't find someone for several months? Who's
We
gonna
got
do the
applications already.
Sorry, what's that?
You got some pretty good applicants already.
Okay, It's already been
And again, Karen has agreed to stay until December 1st unless she gets a job offer next door to her house. for really
I don't
good
want to
money.
leave the county high and dry, and I want to be able to go over everything in person.
so
So Aaron, I know Joe, they're two pretty good ones lined up already. We haven't had interviews yet, but they come in.
I have one quick question. Where is that draft paper that people are looking at? I don't seem to have it. Where did I?
It's right after.
It's in the
budget
very
summary.
beginning, the percentages.
Oh,
Summary.
sorry. Oh, duh. Thank you.
So we have a motion that's been moved and seconded, correct? Correct.
Yes.
So, okay. All right, well, there are no further questions. Call for a vote. Andy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes. Feeling?
Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion passes. Move on to Department 1030, Information Technology.
It should be 10:35, 10:30 is facility.
I'm sorry.
That should be
Typo on my
10:35.
part.
Okay, 10:35.
Josh, our technology guru, Jason is right out back. If you folks have any questions for him. Answer them. But I believe for the most part, the technology budget, the only increase that you'll see is, again, is personnel. Jason has been a huge asset and worth his weight in gold, folks, and we are very, very, very fortunate. Any of you that have to deal with technology issues at your towns or town offices, understand the value of great technology people.
So are we on 10:35?
Yes,
10:35, yeah.
yes, sorry.
Information Technology. Any questions from the committee?
Did you have questions on the rules? He's explained that to me when I was in the commissioners meetings,
What's that?
the phones.
What? Yes.
I mean, I understand it because I was at a meeting when he explained it, but I didn't know if anybody else needed an explanation.
Let me just ask him if he would come in for one moment. Will you join us for a second? Okay.
We don't have a phone here.
There's a
Not
lot,
this-
there's a lot going on with technology, folks. Jason has been right on the cusp of it, so. Jason.
Hello.
please.
Yeah, so on, I think I have it here, August 18th, I presented to the commissioners that for my suggestion was any cell phones that have CJIS information, which is Criminal Justice Information Systems, which is a standard by the FBI. You can't have that on any personal devices. And any devices that it is on that's considered a mobile device, whether that be a laptop, cell phone, tablet, you have to be able to track it if it's lost, lock it if it's lost, or wipe it if it's lost, so nobody else can get into that data. We didn't have that policy in place, so they voted to approve that on the 18th. So that's the big change for the cell phone policy, is that they have to be county administered. We have to put software on them that can track them, GPS track them, wipe them, lock them, change passcodes, lock them out, that sort of thing. So it's not new. It's something that should have been done in the past, but we're just kind of catching up to it.
Jason's also doing some checking because we're also running into a lot of high expenses on our regular office phones. If you could give these folks.
The phone system itself, you mean? Or-
Like
Yeah, so
the cost and.
we're running on I don't want to say this too loud, I'm mostly jokingly, but the phone systems we're running on are from like 1998. So they're a big, they work fine, but if they stop working, we're kind of up a creek because the only place you can get parts is eBay. And whether those are going to work. So right now, one of the big projects we're working on is quoting out a new system. It's going to be a voice over IP system, so we'll use the internet. It's a big expense, but it's, you know, since we've been running on one for 25 years, it really doesn't owe us anything. And so we're working on upgrading that. We're getting quotes for an on-site system, which would be similar to what we have now. Quotes for one that would be in the cloud, so we would lease it or pay monthly for it. We would also, we're reviewing our phone bills and internet bills to get those all together so we can try to cut down on those, and burn some contracts that we've been in for some time, or not contracts, but some plans we've been in for a while, and I think we can get better deals on those. And the nice piece about the newer phone technology is where the commissioners have decided in the past couple of years about snow days versus work from home days, we've given laptops to people. So I think Commissioner Shorey usually will notify people by noon the day before if tomorrow's going to be a work from home day. With this new phone system, they can take their phone with them. Okay, you won't be here, so don't worry about it. And if you called like the DA's office, you would call the same number and they could answer it at their house like they were in the office. So it's kind of definitely not on the cutting edge, but it's something we need to upgrade as we're, you know, again, I tell the story that last year we had a problem with some phones in the comm center, not 911 phones, but just the office lines where they rang in and you couldn't hear them or they couldn't hear you. And we were working with Consolidated, and their first question was, have you done any updates on your phone system? And I said, no, because I don't have any floppy disks flying around. There hasn't been an update since 1998. So we're pretty sure it wasn't that.
6-inch or an 8-inch?
Oh, 3.5 inch. Yes. Yeah. Anything else for me?
So
Yeah.
a couple quick questions, if
Yeah.
I may. So you're gonna take the base telephone system and put it on voice over internet,
Yes. Yep.
and then you're going to the cell phones that you have to get, you know, that you're required to get.
Yep.
Who's the carrier for those?
We currently use 3 different. We have US Cellular, Verizon, and AT&T. I asked for a quote this year from each one to see what we could get for prices and everything else like that. They came in pretty similar. I think AT&T was a little bit lower than the other two. So I haven't confirmed which one we're going with. We have most of ours right now are through US Cellular. I think we have 1 or 2 through Verizon and 1 or 2 through AT&T, just to try them out and see how the coverage is and everything else like that. And you reminded me of something. Another piece of this phone system, the phone system and the cell phones is, by law, I believe it is, we have to keep records of digital communications for 7 years. And currently, if I'm on a county cell phone and I text somebody, we don't archive that in any sort of way. And in theory, we're supposed to. So the solution of the VoIP system would actually integrate with the cell phones, so we can archive all those text messages as well for 7 years. So if, you know, somebody came and said, hey, this, you know, deputy told me this, you could say, no, he actually didn't, you know, sort of thing. Because right now, and I don't mean to throw them under the bus, but if someone were to delete a text message, we have no idea. And US Cellular, we reached out to them just to see, and they archive things for 30 days. And to get even that, you would need a court order to get it.
So is one of those providers, in the opinion of the people who use them, better than the other providers?
It depends on where you are. Commissioner Johnson has a Verizon one, because in Lincolnville, I think you said US Cellular, just the coverage wasn't there. I've swapped over to AT&T for mine just to test it out, and I haven't had any issues with the coverage. US Cellular, I think you have.
I do US Cellular.
Yeah, and so I think it's where you are. I know, according to their advertisements and also some press releases, AT&T, I guess, has dumped a lot of money into towers and coverage in Maine in the last couple of years. So we figured we'd give them a shot. And I haven't had any issues, and I know a few deputies have swapped their personal over to AT&T as well.
Good.
They provide FirstNet. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's a first responder program where it's a discounted plan for a first responder. you get unlimited text, talk and data. And also, it's kind of in response to 9/11. If a tragedy were to occur and the system is overrun, those first responders get priority over anyone else.
That's cool.
So
That's
yeah, so
cool.
we figured we should give that a shot. You know, it's just- he first came out, I think, 2 years ago, and we tried a phone for 30 days and it was awful. But we tried one more recently and it seems, I think the coverage in Swanville is better on it, but like, again, the Lincolnville Beach area is a little spotty, but
Thanks.
there's none that cover them all.
Well, yeah.
Driving through Freedom, I use it no matter what I have, so.
Welcome to freedom.
Yes, exactly. The freedom from cell phones.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, well, with that, if there are no further questions, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to accept the budget. 1035 for $86,246.
Second it.
Motion moved by Tammy, seconded by Elaine. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll first vote. Penny, how do you vote?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Elaine?
Aye.
Tom?
Yes.
Linda?
Aye.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. All right, so let's move on.
So are we going for facilities next or?
No.
No, I'm
Going
sorry.
by this schedule. So we're going to 1090.
Karen, you're figuring the same amount for the audit?
I don't see it going out.
Okay.
The trouble is getting somebody to do it.
Yeah.
That's a pretty reasonable price compared to what our town is.
Really?
For a little town of Palermo, we pay $7,000
Are you
for
serious?
our audit.
Our audit's actually more closer to 11,000, but the jail pays a portion of that. Because it has to be done separately, but it's all incorporated. This is the county's portion.
Okay, so they charge $8,500 for the county and another $3,000 for the jail or whatever.
And then you also have to incorporate it into the county.
When they do the audit, do they audit payroll as well as just the books?
Each year is different. 1 year it's payroll, 1 year it's something else. They pick and choose. You never know what they're gonna focus on. It keeps you on your toes.
Who are your auditors?
It's Brentner and Thibodeau out of Dayton. They've had a staff shortage. They've been out sick. I've been after them. The 2020 audit should be done here shortly. 2021, he can't guarantee. I've asked him if he'd do it. He doesn't know yet, but I can't start that one until that other one's done.
When does the audit have to be done by law?
We'd like to have them May of the following year, but we haven't for the past few years.
Since COVID.
Yes, since COVID, we can't get, it's like nobody will, a lot of auditors are having problems. They don't have the staff. Or they're losing staff somewhere else.
In Palermo, we've had no real problem with our audits. No real problem. They get most of their information. We send it to them. They do it in their office and come back to us. with
I have done
questions.
everything through emails, sending them everything, and it's him. He doesn't have, he lost two of his helpers, so now it's all on him, and it's a firm, and each of them have their own companies that they work with. And he's like, he really can't guarantee he can do 2021, so I don't know what we're gonna do with that.
Okay, so you're leaving it at the amount that you paid last year.
Yes,
And you think that's reasonable?
I think it is with what we have on the jail side too, I think for mine.
Any question?
No, it got answered. Thank you.
I make a motion that we accept number 1090 at 85,000.
85,000.
8,500?
8,500.
Seconded.
Bob, second by Elaine. I just have a quick question. What if we never did an audit again? What happened?
State of Maine.
I was gonna say, no, we'd have to, Josh.
No good choice.
And what is how much time has to pass before we're in trouble?
This is the longest I've gone, and they haven't asked for it yet, so I
But-
don't know.
Wouldn't you have trouble with the banks with getting loans and that sort
That's
of
gonna be
thing?
the problem,
That's
because right now I got Kim the National wanting,
let's see your books.
and I am trying to get the 2020, because that's what they're requesting. The next one they're gonna want is 2021. So all I can do is give them a printout of my GL to help it along, but they really want the audit.
Karen, when was the last time you changed auditors?
Oh, probably been, this one makes the 8th year. And I
Eighth
kind of
year.
wanted to finish out. Dave had brought him on. We've had 5 different auditors since I've been here. I think it's 5. Yeah, we've had 5 different auditors since I've been here.
Yeah. I think 4 or 5.
Well, we had Campbell, we had Harold, we had Sharman. I can't remember.
That was way before.
Willie.
Yes, that one.
Willie Staples, yeah.
And then we had, this, maybe it's been 4.
I think it's Sean,
Sean is part of
Part of it,
this.
yeah.
He
So
was the
4.
helper of that. He was very thorough,
yes.
but wow. Yeah. It's time to move on. They say every 3 to 5 years. But I mean, they're more thorough than the other auditors I've ever had.
I found on a couple of things that I'm sure that we looked down for auditor and actually ended up with the same one that we had before, when everything came in. So, it could be likely that happened again.
Any further discussion? All right, call for a vote. Tammy?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Tom?
Aye.
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 And I vote yes. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna stay in this line and move on to Department 1095, debt service.
We have no
Have no
debt.
debt.
We have no debt. No debt. No debt. Only county
You
in
need to vote
Maine.
on that?
I make a motion to accept item 1095 at $0.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion moved by Penny, seconded by Wayne. Any discussion? No? Okay. Sorry, Penny?
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. You got to vote.
Aye.
Tom?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And, oh, yes. Let's pass that one quickly, great. And Department 2000 interest.
Ken, would you explain, because there's a decrease in that?
With what I'm looking at for interest right now, like today, it's 20,580.31. Of that amount, 12,360.53 is the county side. Interest rates are gonna go back up. We're at 1.75, I think is where we're at for the interest for this year, but I don't see it going up a big jump because we have to do this as close to the end of the year as possible to get approval for next year. I think lowering it because we're gonna have leftover this year. So I thought lowering it, but I didn't dare go too low because I don't know what the interest rates are gonna be.
So I have a question. We say we have no debt yet we're paying interest, 19,000.
We have no debt as far as having
This-
loan.
Okay, so this debt is like
This
tax
is,
incentive notes. and
this is
stuff like
the
that.
10, the tax participation note.
Tax incentive.
Yeah, the last debt we had was the comm center.
Any other questions?
Aye. Make a motion that we accept budget center 2,000 for $19,000.
Seconded.
Motion moved and seconded. Any discussion? Not. Roll call vote. Tammy?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Tom?
Yes.
Lloyd?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
And
Aye.
I vote aye as well.
Aye, yeah.
That's-
Mike was meant to do it.
So let's move on to Department 2025 employee benefits.
Mr. Chair, if I'm on speaker.
Yes.
So when you turn to 2025 employee benefits, you're gonna see that there is an increase this year. And folks, we beat this around every year. 15 years ago, we became self-funded. We jumped off the cliff and did what everybody else was afraid to do. And it was probably one of the scariest and wisest things that we did. We met, when I say we, I mean, the commissioners met with Malcolm Ulmer, who is like our plan administrator, if you will. And we took a look at, a painful look at if we were kind of in line with others. And we came to a wild reckoning that guys, we're doing something really good and really right. And we understand it figures out to be in 15 years, it's basically a 1% increase over the years, every year with our insurance, which would make it 15% after 15 years. He showed us face value other counties or municipalities or self-funded groups such as ours, equally like ours, that were showing double-digit increases every year. And we thought, wow, we are asking employees or letting them know that they will be paying additionally more. It is not fair to go to a budget committee requesting more and not expecting the same from all of us. So that is why you see an increase in employee benefits.
The self-funded health insurance, who manages that?
If you looked at our insurance card, it says Aetna.
It's
like-
Meritain, it's an ethnic company.
Yeah.
It's Meritain, okay.
Yes.
So why did we need an increase in health insurance of 123 plus thousand? Right, it's an increase this year over last
Right, because in years past, Penny, we should have been, the key to self-funding is you have to have something in there. That's what pays the bill. We are the insurance company. And in keeping everything status quo between what we ask of you and what we ask of the employees, that's not going to balance out well at the end of the day. This is why some businesses go under with their insurance policy, because they don't have the money sitting there to cover them for something large. So unfortunately,
You've kept it status quo for the past, what, since 2013?
no. And we've taken great pride in that because, I mean, I can tell you personally, I was a farmer. I was a dairy farmer, and back 20 years ago, I was paying $600 a month. That was 20 years ago.
For your cows?
Well, they were well insured. Yeah, I wasn't. But so I mean, we really have. But in doing so, I mean, obviously, we have to maintain the times. None of us are getting any younger, you know. And as you look toward that in the future and down the road, and instead of some large conglomerate, you know, making the decision for you, that is one of the things that's nice when it's this level, and we can sit there in a room and banter back and forth and speak the obvious to one another and you know, make decisions based there.
So I have a question. The money that you're asking for, does it, I guess it goes two places. I guess it goes to pay the bills, and it goes to a reserve account.
It goes into the actual health insurance plan to fund the account.
To fund the account.
We've done quite a lot of research on this. We were out in the commercial market. Some of you people in your, maybe an insurance plan in your towns, it is commercial. But the size of us in the commercial market today would be about $1,600,000. Good cost to insure people in Fuller County.
Just I'll tell them what Malcolm told us, because he had all the information in front of us. I mean, we had asked him for everything from day one. 15 years ago, when the budget committee, and it was the budget committee that said to us, this is the last year we're gonna pay this amount. You figure something out. 15 years ago, folks. And the budget committee was paying $1.1 million for the insurance. That was 15 years ago when we were across. And it was because of that, I mean, literally, we interviewed and sat down. We had budget committee members join us and we said, well, let's give this a whirl. And guys, we've done, it was the scariest thing the first 2 years. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Barb and everybody were ripping their hair out, but it was probably the best thing that we did because 1.1 million 15 years ago. So,
Yes,
Next question is why the decrease in workers' comp?
Kelly's not here, but she's implemented a few things with workers' comp, and she had to do up a, a plan she had to type up,
A safety plan.
yeah,
something like that,
something like
which
that.
lowered us, we're on a different category, and we were able to drop workers' comp,
Who do you get your workers' comp from?
MMA.
MMA.
what was the percent increase for the health insurance plan last year?
No. It's been at 925 for, I think, since 2013. I'd have to go back through all the budgets.
No, I remember a couple of years, maybe 3 years ago, it
Did
increased.
it increase? I'd have to go
Yeah.
back. for-
We
It
could
was
go
like-
back and look,
yeah.
but maybe that was,
I think it had been like at 800,000 and
Yeah,
then we,
825.
Yeah, that
Oh,
that
man.
does sound right.
But I got an insurance bill in the mail today. House insurance. Same house, nothing has changed this year. Guess what? It's up $300.
except you're
And
older, right?
insurance in general is going up 10 to 12% a year around the country.
Yeah, that's that every.
that's because you're paying for all the natural disasters that are
Yeah.
caught.
That's exactly right, Ben.
Can any of you give a sort of a layman's explanation for how you came up with the 13% increase for the health insurance plan?
I'm trying to think of,
For the figures this year,
as I say, Josh, I mean, we went back and looked historically. It looks like there's been a 1% that we haven't passed along a year. So it's a 15% increase from what it was, what the plan is costing us from 15 years ago. And I think we felt that the 123 would be a comfortable number and a fair enough increase.
and Malcolm was on board with us, so it's between us and Malcolm, who's a so-called agent in Augusta.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, that's kind of lame, Josh. I apologize. I can get you a better answer to that. I mean, we've struggled with the insurance. Truthfully, we have. It's like, because I mean, especially this day and age, we're all paying, more for everything. So, I mean, we really have struggled with.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that we're all paying more for everything. I mean, what did we pay for a gallon of milk 15 years ago? That's gone up more than 15%.
Yeah.
What did we pay for gasoline 15 years ago?
Anyway.
The point being is, I think part of it is just simply the cost of living. In the society that we live in, it's supply and demand and, you gotta pay the help, you gotta pay this guy, you gotta pay that guy, so it's charged to the customer.
Of course, there's also been lots of advances in medicine, all kinds of new fancy equipment. All
We
of
have-
that.
We also have more employees. And like I said, none of us are getting any younger, so doggone it.
So this increase is based on the recommendation of the person.
Careful
that-
study, and Malcolm, who is our plan administrator, and he even goes back and forth with Eric
Yeah.
Dell, I believe in New
Yeah.
York, who writes our policy and everything else.
And so that's the recommended amount that they came up with.
Yeah.
So
So one thing that's difficult, we're working with a limited number of people. It's not like we have 500, 1,000 people and we can spread this cost out and we have constantly younger ones coming in. So it's a difficult plan to manage.
How many employees are in the county?
They're
80.
Doing the insurance
Well,
or just employees?
Doing that are part of the insurance plan, the health insurance.
that's tricky. That's a trick question. Because you have employees, employees, spouse, and family. So,
So I guess I would need
Right.
that number.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity.
Karen, what do we got? 70?
When's the last time the commissioners considered the MMA's health insurance plan?
Actually, we reviewed it.
This year? And how what?
Josh, we can beat you hands down 2 times over.
So are
It
these,
was, put it this way, and Bill and Betty can attest to this. I mean, we wanted to know we're doing this right, you know, and our costs and everything else. And one of them was MMA, the example, and another was a like county in our size. And MMA was, were they double?
MMA is self-insured, correct?
They are, yes.
But of course, they have astronomical numbers to work with.
Right.
And I'm not disrespecting MMA. Do not mistake what I'm saying, but they're also in the business to make money. Okay? We're not looking to make money. We're just looking to cover employees and answer to the community. So therefore, we're not looking to bulk up to generate profit.
So they're actually taking profit from that health insurance. I didn't know
MMA
that.
makes,
I didn't know that.
I mean, it's just like, at the end of the day, I mean, it's an insurance, you know, and that's why when people self-fund, they have to be very, you know, you have to be very careful and monitor. We have a great wellness program because you want them to be healthy, you know what I mean? But I mean, they're in the business to make money. So it was shocking. And the like county to us was double.
Double.
I mean, to the point where you're like, oh my goodness, I can't tell anybody that. Yeah.
And last question, sort of off topic, but have the commissioners considered inviting municipal governments in Waldo County to join? Because Lincolnville is on the MMA plan.
So believe it or not, since the beginning of this, we've actually had towns say, I think we get on board.
Can we do it?
Yeah, can we join you?
Mhm.
And to which we've always said one of our things is we were grandfathered, so like you can't make changes, blah, 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 blah. But the recommendation that Malcolm gave to us was it's a benefit if you have at least 50. And like if a bunch of towns got together and could amass that many, that would be one thing. But we're really picky and selective, Josh. I'll tell it like it is. You know what I mean? And to have somebody from the outside come in, all of a sudden, you know, you're like very protective. And I don't know what process that would make, but it's.
Because you mentioned that the more people you have, the more you're spreading out that risk. So potentially it could even lower the cost for the county. But I understand being protective over it, but there's something perhaps that.
I mean, I'm serious. I thought to myself, you know, like I was a selectman years ago. And I had a farm, remember? And I thought to myself, wow, if everybody could just get together. We all rely so heavily on MMA. And again, I mean, they're in business and I get it, but we could like band together and do what we're doing. Because as I say, 1.1 million 15 years ago. And we're talking 1.2 now. Over 15 years. Hands down, outstanding coverage. I mean, just it's worth gathering your groups together and saying, what do we need to do? How could we do this? Because
I think, excuse me, yeah, I didn't mean to say. I think, Josh, you would have to have like a kind of a group of towns get together and say, let's research this. And the conversations with Malcolm, that's how something would work if the town would get involved. But ours is on a special plan that's going back to when their grandfather, so that doesn't make it
Got it, okay.
fit the bill. But if enough towns got together and talked, they probably could do quite a deal.
I mean, if you guys ever were serious and gathered the masses, I would personally bring Malcolm in to sit down and he'll lay stuff out, you know. Yeah, be surprised.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's a difference between profit and nonprofit business.
Kenny, you had your hand up.
Just make the motion to accept 2025 employee benefits 1861319.
Seconded.
Okay, motion by Penny, seconded by Wade. Any further discussion on this?
Yes.
Brenda? Yes. Tom?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Bob?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote yes. Motion passes. Good conversation.
Yeah, it really was. It really was, guys. I appreciate that. Department 2040, this is Barb's baby, and look at the handsome cut that she has made. Records preservation. Barb, would you speak on this?
Sure. As you keep beating on COVID, I'll use that again. But we're still not fully moved over into the archive because you have to go up 3 flights of stairs. There's a tiny little elevator. There's a lot of boxes that need to be moved, and it wasn't until recently that the residents were free to be intermingling with people because of trying to keep things. So now that the garden is winding down, I am really, really hoping we'll get moved over there. But in the meantime, I know it does not look like there've been any expenses, but Jason, the computer at the current archive is very old and very unreliable. He's ordering another one. That will come out of this budget. The photocopier scanner is from 2005 and it smokes, so we've unplugged it. It is not used.
Still kind of works, but it smokes.
Didn't
Anyway,
know
It's
smoking was
scary.
bad.
It is with electronic devices and permanent records, so we're not doing any of that, but working on getting those things taken care of. And one of the great things about ordering other scanners, we can start scanning some of these records, which I've actually started doing here. Especially for roads, it makes it so much easier for people if they can look at the index and then say, hey, can you pull up this or that, and then you send it. So those are the goals. So this will be pretty much drained by the end of the year. It's just getting set up over there. And then that's why we ended up making reduction, because we won't need as much the following year. It'll be a matter of microfilming a little here and there. That has been a chore, trying to find people that microfilm. I think there is, and this is something I need to speak with the state of Maine about. I think there's a shift that may be happening on what is considered an archival record, and I think it's leaning toward digital, but I'm not 100% sure of that. The thing with microfilm is you basically just need a magnifying glass and a source of light. That's why it's always been like the most acceptable way of backing up your materials, because it takes very little to be able to read it. But now you see people are trying to get their microfilm switched over to digital. We're in a really interesting time, and I've got to find out from the state what direction are we going in. There's no sense in doing one method if that may not be what is, where we're headed. But we'll have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, Bob.
So are any of the records in danger of being destroyed by mice, rats, all that stuff?
Good Lord.
No,
What do you
they've been over at the Superior. They originally, some of them
Mole.
were in the basement.
Well, yeah.
When I
Yeah.
came here, they were in the basement of the Superior Courthouse, and the commissioners at the time did a fantastic job using a grant to get an archivist that came and got them out of the basement, got them cleaned, got them sessioned and organized and in the system that we've been able to continue to add to.
And you feel like they're protected.
We try to keep it as climate controlled as you can. in that building, Between air conditioning and humidity, we try very hard. There's a thermal hygrometer over there. Sometimes I go over and go, and we try to make regulation, adjustments. The old jail had a mold problem that we had to get taken care of. That took everything that got backed up, but it is in great shape now. Now that I think we have the manpower, because we just couldn't do it last year. I thought we would, but I think we'll be good. I'm very excited about it.
So let's talk about microfilm development. What exactly does that mean? Does that mean developing the physical microfilm, or does it mean scanning it?
It means we need to scan it and send it to a facility that actually does microfilming. We had an ancient microfilm machine at the Superior Court that you could not get cards for. And from what research we've done, it doesn't make sense to try to purchase another one.
So you're saying actually taking like
Sending
an
stuff.
8.5, like something like
Yes.
this,
Yep.
and turning this into microfilm.
Yes.
And is that required by law?
At this point, yes.
So we still need to make stuff into microfilm
At this point.
instead of
yes.
just scanning.
So I mean, that's
Correct.
almost.
But
almost
That's
like-
crazy, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to determine. Where are we headed with
Because
this?
do we want Barb to continue to have to do this process if we can do it digitally? And
But we won't know until they decide.
Yeah.
So you
Well, I'm
probably have to continue.
gonna have to continue, and they make there have been more changes in records disposition rules and laws in the last 10 years than there ever were. They're things, technology makes everything speed up, and that includes the laws and rules and what is considered safe, backup, and all of that. So we're kind of in a interesting.
I just can't believe that's where when I hear microfilm, I always think that's historical microfilm, not microfilm that's being created in 2022.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've gone from floppies to terabytes. If you're scanning it, that should be the end of the world.
yeah,
You would think so. I don't know if this is the thought process, but if the world everything just crashed, we can still use a
true.
magnifying glass and a candle and read the history.
For photos,
Right, yeah.
same thing.
Right. So that's why.
Or you could just save the damn hard copy
right?
And we do.
and not do anything.
The permanent records that we have to save are safe. Physical paper, physical books.
We do have she has done incredible work in rebinding over the years and
Yeah.
stuff
we've
of
got some
of
things
some
we
of the
found.
old books is really cool. So anyway, we've said, get everything that you want this year, we'll spend this, what we've got.
Yes,
But
But we're gonna bring
next
over
year-
what we can, desks and things, we're gonna reuse whatever we can for shelving.
So I make a motion to accept the 2040 records preservation budget request of $4,000.
Second,
motion moved by Penny, second by Elaine. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all for a vote. Penny? Aye. Bob?
Aye.
Elaine?
I,
Tom? Yes. Brenda? Yes. Ken?
yes.
Oh, yes. Motion passes. So let's move on to Department 2045 reserves.
Again, as we have historically in the past, we only ask one line, that is the severance line. What?
Well, and sound like my wife.
I talked to her, that's what she said.
She's a nice girl too.
I'm sorry, Bob.
That's okay. So in the past, we've talked about how you guys might have been behind in accumulating enough money for the severance. Is this gonna get you where you need to be, or are you still behind the 8 ball?
Karen?
You're about halfway there.
About halfway? And at the rate of 25,000 a year, how many years will it take to get there?
Quite a few, because we've already paid out that much.
Because you're paying out
Yep.
25,
Being
put
those
it in.
all-
25.
So could you make an argument that we should be doubling that or tripling that this year?
I didn't expend any this year.
I mean, Josh, I'd be foolish to like say no, but I guess I'm gonna kind of say no. I mean, I think, and this is my call, Karen, you can stop me anytime. I mean, I think we've tried desperately to keep this budget down enough because we realize that there are increases that are out of our control that we can't do anything about. And I think if we continue funding at that level, that we can do it. And,
At least it keeps it sustainable.
I don't see us going broke on that line unless we have, like 8 long-term employees that decided that they would retire or.
So did the auditors write a comment in your audit
I haven't
report?
seen a lot in a couple of years, but
Yes, there is. There is.
There's
a
a comment.
comment.
What does their comment say?
It needs to be funded.
Funded at what level? 80%, 75%,
They would like to
100%?
see the full thing.
What
Yeah,
is,
sure
what
they
is the
would.
full thing?
If you look at everything we have on the books, it's like 700,000.
Can you give us the history of this line, like the last 20 years? Why isn't this funded already?
Because severance isn't in the budgets, it's in a reserve. And when somebody leaves, that money comes out of the reserve, not out of the budget, so it doesn't hurt the department's budget of going over. And the commissioners basically over the years have kept it basically what they think they might be paying out for that year. It's never been truly where it should be. And I think right now we're looking at like 300,000 in the account, so we're
Yeah.
about halfway there.
When did this line start?
Huh?
When did this line start being funded? How many years ago?
Gosh,
I'm gonna say,
We've been funded the 25,000.
10 plus years.
I'd have to.
but
correct you.
believe it or not, and I don't know if you remember this, but it used to come out of the department budget and it would triple at times. So
If-
it was an unforeseen.
So that's the reason why this,
Why it
well, why
became a
it
reserve.
started.
Yes, right,
It's gotta be 10 plus years ago.
at least the.
Because I
25.
think Bill Sneed and those folks were on.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that.
Bill Sneed was part of that with trying to
Oh.
keep it at least the 25.
So if somebody retires and they have built up vacation time, PTO, whatever, however you guys do it, that comes out of this.
Yes.
Do you guys limit the amount that they are allowed to accrue?
They're allowed to accrue on vacation up to 2 years worth. Like right now, I'm at 5 weeks, I can have 10 weeks on the books.
And sick time is.
So
what,
the
half
up to
of-
720, and if somebody leaves, they can take half.
So would it be wise to, I don't want to use the word enforce, but encourage people to use their vacation time and sick time instead of accruing it on the books and then having to pay it out in a lump sum?
I mean, no, certainly Penny, but I mean,
we do.
I mean, I think we're a good place to work and I think we do encourage, people like go on vacation. Certainly don't we get sick, but
So what we did in Unity, when we hired our new clerk 6 years ago, was in the contract, limited the amount of vacation and sick time that they could accrue, because what had happened when the previous clerk retired was there were weeks and weeks of accrued, and it hurt us.
make no mistake, I mean,
So I'm wondering if you can't put it in your contract that you can only accrue up to a certain amount.
and
We're having negotiations.
we're working on
Right now.
that. Remember, we have 4 unions also.
Right.
But no, and this has been brought to our attention multiple times with the auditor also.
Because if you had 4 long-term, say, sheriff's department employees, all of a sudden say, I'm retired.
It happened 1 year.
Yeah, I
It's
want my
happened.
year severance.
No,
It happened,
Bob, did you have?
I did have a quick one. The auditors comment on this, but they don't qualify their opinion.
No, actually, I think he commented and qualified an
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, so I'd have to go get an old audit too.
So it says,
It's,
I mean, usually the audit will talk about no material discrepancies, but he's considering this a material discrepancy, and he's commenting about
Significant,
it.
do something about it.
In his-
Significant, too
in
much of a
his opinion.
liability.
His or her opinion.
Yes, Penny.
So this is what I'm going to say to speak against giving them more than 25,000. Is that in Unity's case, this 5.72 increase is $14,000, which may not seem like a whole lot. But don't forget, we just had the tax stabilization programs applications come out, which is unfortunate for a lot of towns in that it's not completely funded by the state. They have enough money for, I think, a year and a half of that. And then unless they make amendments or change it, if we start increasing people's taxes, it's not going to hurt the people over 65. It's going to hurt those of us under 65 because we have to make up the difference. So I think we need to be especially careful in raising taxes going forward.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, and as I said, I mean, we try to look at our reserve, our account and think, okay, you know, what's it look like? You know, I mean, Karen's going, okay, there's a 19-year employee. But our overview going forward, you know, with 25,000, I think we'll be okay. And if not, we eat crow and have to call the budget committee back in July.
One second. So severance pay, what's the average severance?
You know, again, you're looking at the wrong person.
it depends. Mine's just over 17,000.
Okay.
Some is anywhere from 7, some's a couple thousand, depending on how long you've been here, what's on the books.
20-year employee, 20 plus might have been, I remember one was like 19 or.
We lost what, 3 the year the 2 the sheriff's secretaries got done, and then somebody else, that was a hard hit year. But the reserve has more in it now than it has.
Can the commissioners use any of their discretionary funds for that, if that were the case?
No, this reserve is set up specifically for that.
Right, but if it went over and the commissioners have the discretionary money, the surplus, if you will,
They would have to vote to put more money into it to pay it.
from the discretionary fund.
And this,
And how much money does the commissioner's office have in discretionary money at this point?
We don't have an audit right now, though.
don't have an audit and I haven't calculated it because Bill hasn't asked me.
Ballpark figure.
Probably about 700,000.
I was literally thinking 725.
Right
So
around.
I think we've got enough.
So a quick question, do you know how we stand compared to other counties as far as our unfunded severance balance goes?
You know, I truly have never,
Never checked that.
I've reached out to them on a lot of things, but truthfully, I don't think I've ever.
I don't think no two counties are the same.
Is there like an annual county commissioners of Maine conference?
Yeah, they just had it.
Okay, and where you all chat about this stuff?
Yeah, they don't.
Okay.
They just go out there.
Yeah, no, they don't. Yeah, no. But no, there was no discussion of anything like that. A lot of times, and patting ourselves on the back or blowing our own horn, but we're the ones that if we show up at those meetings or whatever, well, we come up with this crazy idea and everybody's like, and then we do it. And again, you know, there's only 2 other counties that are self-insured and they took our lead and our information.
And the banks haven't had any problems with this.
Not yet.
Penny, you had a question?
I make a motion to accept 2045 reserves line in the amount of 25,000.
Seconded.
Motion moved by Penny, seconded by Elaine. Any further discussion? Okay, call for a vote. Penny, how do you vote?
I,
Nay,
Wait, Nate?
nay.
Okay, we have a nay. First time tonight.
Sure, why not?
Elaine?
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, and I vote yes. So. 6 yes, 1 no. Right, well, according to the schedule, that is as far as we're going tonight.
There's a bunch of meetings.
So, let's see. We need 2 more meetings, is that right?
Well, I mean, I think, again, if we wanted to try to move this along, 1 with Karen and 2, I don't know about you folks, but it's kind of nice when you're not driving in a blizzard or anything like that. It was kind of nice driving in here and it was still daylight,
Yes.
right?
That
So,
was great.
I mean, truthfully, we were hoping to move this along. I know historically in the past, sometimes we've done it, we've either pulled a Saturday and just done it all day and hammered it all out. And then it is from that meeting, it is, Barb, is it 7 or 10 business days that we have to post for the public hearing?
We have to, it has to be posted 10 days, which
10
in a paper,
business.
yes, but the thing is that, well, I don't know if it's business, I think it's 10 days, but regardless, I do this every year. I call the 2 papers that we usually submit the notice to and find out how much time do I need to give them before it comes out on Thursday. So I need 14 days minimum to get it to them. They get it out on a Thursday and that way we meet our obligation.
Notice a public meeting.
Yes.
You can't do like we do at the town and just tack something on the door and
Well,
call that, call that.
I'm not gonna disagree with you, Bob, because I think a lot of times, we worry a lot, and I don't see a lot of people pounding down the door saying, oh, I didn't,
Yeah,
but
But you want to do it by. the
whatever.
So we,
10 days, it doesn't say business. It says 10
Yeah.
days.
so our next meeting will cover the remaining
Yes,
departments, and then 10, 14 days, then we have the public hearing, and
Yes,
we
sir.
can also have the final vote that night.
yes, yes.
Just to make sure I recall this correctly. So when would we like to have our next?
Do you want to do a Friday evening, and just know it will be late? Because what we've left you with is the larger budgets where you'll have more questions. Or do you want to shoot, do you want to give up a Saturday? Now, I realize hunting season hasn't started yet. Well, no, it
Bird
hasn't.
hunting starts Saturday.
What's that?
Bird.
Bird hunting starts
You're
Saturday.
right, I corrected myself. You're right.
So, okay, let's just poll the committee. Who would rather have it be Friday?
Depending on the Friday, but yes.
Depends on the weather.
Well, yeah.
My eyes are old driving at night, especially if it rains or snows.
All right, let me
No, I
throw
prefer
another silly
Saturday.
idea out here that we've spent all day here before on Saturdays, and Saturday's a tricky day for some people. Maybe I'm out of line. What about a Sunday? No, Tom? Okay. What works for you, sir?
So is
Rainy Saturday.
is consensus-
I'll
is-
see what
is
I can do.
consensus Saturday? Okay, I'm happy to do whatever. Maybe wants to do.
I'm okay either way.
Okay, so let's do a Saturday.
What would be the times on Saturday?
6 a.m.
Now, wait a minute.
Only if you feed me breakfast.
Earlier. How about
Do we
10?
do we want
I
to
was just
say,
thinking 10.
do you want to say 10 o'clock?
10 sounds.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
Which Saturday?
Josh, the only Saturday that I adamantly could not be here because I'm in a wedding is the 15th of October. Do we want to look?
You might want to bear in mind Columbus Day is the 10th, so some people might be away on the 8th.
And Fleeing into Fall is on the 8th.
Is it? Oh,
Is it really?
Yes.
What's Fling in the Fall?
Says what's Fleeing into Fall.
Oh, I know nothing of that.
Oh, wow, let me introduce you.
You missed
For
it.
God's sake.
We have bonfires
Fires
and
are
parades and
Yeah.
everything.
Barb, can you flip the calendar?
Yes.
You're looking at like the 22nd of October?
Do you guys want to shoot for the 22nd?
And then that puts the public hearing into November.
Yeah, just know, if we hammer this out on the 22nd, let's count.
Because today's the 23rd and I'm not gonna be here on the 1st.
So if we did this on the 22nd, taking Barb's 14 days into consideration and giving her some wiggle room, we could conceivably have the public hearing back, we'll do a Friday night, November 4th. That gets us through the holidays. That gets us ahead of the holidays. What did I just say? Through the holidays? Through the- It's the coffee talking. What do you guys think? And that would still hopefully get all this stuff. I don't know about you guys, but I can remember driving home with you behind me in your car and literally like fishtailing the whole way.
2.5
home.
hours one night.
Okay, so Saturday, October 22nd at 10 a.m. is the next meeting, and then that would put the final meeting, which day?
November, what did we say, November 4th?
Does that work for everyone? Friday, November 4th, 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Good. 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
And Barb, does that help you at all?
It
Because
does.
we've given you notice already, so you can already
Yes.
like
The-
prep them?
The thing that, and then we can do this relative, we better still be here. We can, I
please.
I do not know how to run Northern Data anymore. It's been 20 years since I've done that.
And it's been upgraded since you.
I know, I'm sure I'd look at it and not screaming, but anyway, so I can give, all we'll have to do is whatever changes you've made on, I'm sorry, what was that?
They've made no changes.
No change.
October
22nd,
22nd.
10 a.m.
10
Whatever,
a.m.
whatever changes they've made when they've reviewed the budgets with the department heads, that will give us plenty of time to get that done. Plenty of time to get
It'll
it
be
sent
all-
out to the towns. So I have to send it out. And they-
But I mean, understand that any changes that are made, if they make any changes to budgets on the 22nd, Karen has already put it in the computer.
Correct.
All I gotta
and
do
you
So
can
all
is-
we do is
spit it out
send it out. It'll
right
be a
then and
piece
there.
of paper.
What
Um,
time was it?
6 p.m.
Yeah.
Friday, right?
10
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah, 'cause that's the public hearing. You get out.
10 o'clock on the 22nd.
Correct.
And we pray for rain that day, everyone?
Yes.
What are you thinking,
Probably
Penny?
have rain.
I'm sad because it doesn't fall on my birthday this year, so there's no
Oh,
cake.
for God's sakes, do we have to get cake again?
Oh, my.
Oh, not
Lord.
again.
I said it's not, all right, it's too early for my birthday
She
on the
wants her
4th.
cake and eat it
It's
too.
like- it's always about Penny, so it's her birthday month or?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So Penny, your birthday's in October?
November.
November.
And there always seems to be a meeting on my birthday, so I make Amy give me cake.
And I just so happen to get the cake that I like. No.
Which we must both like chocolate with peanut butter frosting.
Oh, that is the best.
It's the best.
Yeah, good stuff.
The October meeting, I guess Barb would, we'll do lunch.
Great.
Sandwich is okay.
Filet mignon.
Yeah, right.
I'm a salad.
All right, is there any further business that maybe we should do that?
I did, but it escaped my brain, so.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second it.
Okay, motion moved by Bob, seconded by Wade to adjourn. Any further discussion? All right, all vote. Penny?
I.
Aye.
Wayne?
Aye.
Linda? Hey. Penny?
How loud we all got.
We are adjourned.
Thank you very, very much, folks.
Thank you.